Okay, in this video, we're going to talk to two things. The very first thing we're going to talk about is how we came up with the idea of what we wanted the CSAT survey to do, how it functions in Salesforce, and the setup behind that so you know how to do this yourself. And then number two is I'm going to talk a lot more about why we did it this way, the size of our company, what we do on a day-to-day basis, how we interact with people. So it can give you some pros and cons about maybe why we set it up the way we personally did for our business versus how you could apply this to yours and not use the same exact template that I'm doing for mine. Okay, so this is what you need to understand before I show you the demo in Salesforce so you're not lost when I start walking through it, okay? So the 10th of the month, we're going to send out this CSAT survey. The very first thing that the automation is going to do is it's going to come to a decision. This triangle thing here, if you're not super familiar with flowcharts, stands for a decision. So this decision here that it tries to check for is, do I actually need to send this survey out? Yes or no? And what we have is a checkbox that says send the survey this month that is defaulted to true because we assume that in almost every scenario we do want to send the survey. But we can't actually check that as false or uncheck the box in case we don't want to send the survey. So it does give you some manual override, and I'll get that in that second part of this video of why we have it do that. Same with why we're sending out on the 10th of the month. Essentially, though, if we want to send it, it's going to go find the account or the client we're working with, the associated contacts for that account. So the stakeholders we work with, like the VP of sales, the CTO, the CEO, director of business, whatever it might be, right? It's going to go find those contacts of who we talk to. And then it's going to decide between what survey it needs to send. So we have two. We have a monthly and we have a quarterly. So if it's the beginning of a quarter like it was this last month when it sent, it was the beginning of October. So that's Q4 starting up. It knows it needs to send the quarterly one, and it's going to send that one out. Next month in November, it's going to hit, and it's going to know, hey, this is November. We're already starting of Q4. We're going to send that monthly one. And then it's going to end. I'll also talk about in the second part of this video some things I'm going to probably add to this now that we've sent this out for the first month. We got some good test data back here of how it worked and what I liked and what I didn't like. So I'll talk about that in the second part. Jumping into Salesforce, this is what this is going to look like, okay? So inside of Salesforce, I'm not going to get into too much of like the nerding out part of things and specifically what you're going to do to build this. But I will talk about what the main key things are so you can deliver that to your Salesforce team or a consultant that you're possibly working with. We created what's called a custom object called a CSAT survey. If you're seeing up here things like leads, accounts, contacts, you're probably familiar with interacting with this if you're using Salesforce. Basically, this thing that I'm pointing to is another one of these little tabs. It just allows us to put all of this information on one place, and that place is called CSAT surveys. Okay, so we created a custom object to be able to house all of this information. And then as you can see here, these just got sent out. You can see that there is the survey type, the name. We also have some more fields I'm just not displaying to you, like the name of the company, the name of the person, things like that. And then the most important thing is like their overall satisfaction. So the quarterly one has 5 questions. The monthly one has 3 questions. I can look at those, and I'm going to show you those here in a second. But the main thing I'm caring about when I look at this from a high level is the overall satisfaction. So we have 3 distinctive votes that they can do, okay? We have very happy, which is like a champion. Things are going excellent. I couldn't ask for anything better. I love it. There's satisfied, which is things are going good. I like the way this direction is going. We have like kind of that neutral face, like nothing good, nothing over the top that's making me feel like, wow, this is amazing. But at the same time, it's going good. Like I have no complaints. And then the third option is not happy. So it's very, very clear to us when we get this back between those 3 options that you're either not happy, you like the way it's going, or you're over the moon and you love it. So it's very easy for us to determine if things are going good or things are going bad. I don't like doing things on a scale of 1 to 10 because it blends stuff together. Someone chooses a 6 or a 5, is like, well, what does that mean to you? What's a 5 mean to you? Does that mean satisfied, or does that mean like this isn't really good? It's just too much. And so we decided on 3. So again, those are not happy, satisfied, and very happy. So when you go to send one of these out, or when you look at one of these CSATs when they come back, this is what this would look like. So I created a dummy one for myself. I have our account here. You have the rating this month. So here's those 3 options. You have effective communication, and this will tell you what that means. Did we answer your questions and keep you updated? So with our consulting firm, we talk to people via email and via Slack and via weekly meetings with these people. So this effective communication is like when you asked us questions, did we come back and give you the stuff you wanted to know? Again, we want to keep this very black and white. I don't really want gray answers. So I want to have them tell me yes or no, or you're happy or you're not happy. So did we keep you updated? Yes or no? Feedback is the 3rd question on our monthly one, which is basically just saying, what's one thing we can do better next month? That's the prompt that they'll see when they go to fill this out. Then I'm also going to show you here in just a second. So they can fill this out with whatever they want, right? And this is ideally where we're going to get some improvements so we can make it even better. Once they complete this, it's going to automatically fill in the date and time. So that way you also know when they completed the survey, and you can kind of take a look at those patterns over the long run. Also, it's just good to date stamp it to let you know that it is complete and you're not sitting there guessing whether or not it is. The contact is the person you're setting up in Salesforce. So this obviously just sent to me, but you would set this up to whatever contact you want to send it out to. So this is what this record will look like. I have not completed that yet. I'm going to show you that in my email. So I'm going to hurry and pause this. We're going to fill it out together, and then you'll see that this all gets updated. So let me hurry and come back here. I'm going to hurry and pause this so I can pull up my email. Okay, I have my email now pulled up. Well, this is going to really zoom me in. Okay, so we have this CSAT survey that just came in. All right, so this is one I was just showing you. We have this coming from our support team. So that way, if anybody does want to respond to it, or needs questions, or wants to reach back out, they can reach out to our partner success team. So it's another thing that you'll want to do inside your Salesforce to set this up to have those responses go to whoever wants to handle this stuff. So my support team will handle it if anybody has questions. And this is the copyright we came up with. We wanted to keep ours really simple, basically highlight the fact that this is for last month. And then the quarterly, it'll say the last 90 days. And then we also are prompting them, hey, it's 3 questions and should take 30 seconds or less. What we have found over the past is that the more we can push somebody to tell them what this is going to take from them to be able to fill it out before they click into it, the higher chance is that they'll actually complete it for you. So we're trying to prompt them, hey, it's really quick. This really won't take much time at all. We also want to say what we're going to do with this. We're going to read these personally. We're going to make changes, and it is helpful for us. And we can't really make things better for you if you don't tell us. So we're also letting them know that we're going to do that. Again, we have our sign off here from our success team that it's coming from automatically. Now, when I click on this, this is going to bring me into an experience site that we have set up in Salesforce with these 3 questions for the monthly survey. So again, here's the monthly survey. I want to make sure that we're aligned with you. And then you start taking those questions as this person. So how happy are you with our work this month? That's a 3-question thing here. Very happy, satisfied, or not happy. We'll put very happy. Did we answer your questions and keep you updated? Yes or no? Yes. And then what's one thing we can do better next month? We love you. Nothing. Right? That's what we hope all the responses are. And then you're going to hit submit survey. Once you hit submit survey, it's going to prompt you and let you know, hey, thank you for completing this survey. Your responses have been recorded. You can hit thanks. And then this kind of goes to white, letting them know you're good to go. You can actually just exit out of this thing. Depending on how people interact with this, I may change this wording after they hit thanks to say something like, feel free to close the tab. Maybe you want to do that. We really haven't had any pushback on this yet. So it just kind of says the same thing, but I could understand that that could come across maybe as confusing for some people. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this tab. Now, something cool that I want to also show you is, let's pretend that something else happens or they forget if they filled this out for you or not, and they come back in here and they click the link again. Well, now if they click the link again, it's going to remember me and it's going to tell me, hey, it looks like this survey has already been completed. go ahead and reach out to your account manager if you have any other feedback or questions. So now it's prompting them, hey, we already got your feedback. If this is new feedback, feel free to reach out to your account manager. Otherwise, you're good to go. You don't need to do anything. And then it does have a close button here prompting them to be done with the survey. So really cool kind of fix there for us just to let them know that it has been taken care of. All right, now if we jump back into this dummy CSAT survey, you're now going to see that this is filled out. So we have that rating that I put in, we have the effective communication, we have the feedback, okay? We also have this time stamped automatically to let us know this was taken on the 14th, right, at 2:26 p.m., which is awesome. So now you can filter your reports that way, see when people are completing these, try to figure out if there's a better day to send it, how many reminders maybe it took to send it out. So you have all that cool information. All right, so something else that we added on here that makes this even cooler is this is obviously our dummy data. This is my own company. We have a related tab. You might be familiar with this in Salesforce. It'll show you things that are related to this account. So the company is the name of the account, Simply Scale. We have this thing right here, which is a CSAT survey. So now when people from this account fill this out, I can actually go to their account and see at a quick glance, hey man, it looks like Jordan filled this out. I can click and go to that record to see more information if I want to. But quick glance here is he's very happy this month and we sent him the monthly survey. So he's good to go. We also have this on the contact itself. So if I go to my contact, Jordan Nelson, right, and I go down to this CSAT survey on the related field again, it will tell me that same thing. So no matter where I'm looking in Salesforce, if I'm going to the CSAT, I'm going to the account, or I'm going to the contact, I can find this information, making it really easy for me as a business owner working with these other businesses to know how everybody's doing. My job at this size and level of my company, I'm more in a managerial role. We have limited people on the team at this point in time. And so I'm doing a lot of the managing and not so much of the work at this point. And so this is really important for me to kind of take the edge off, right? I don't have to feel like, man, how did things go on that call with, our team last month? How have they been feeling? Do they like us? Do they not like us? And that's actually why we started building the CSAT survey out. I was starting to feel like I needed to micromanage in some degree, because if I personally didn't get on the call or I personally didn't watch the recording from the call, I didn't know really how they felt. Sometimes you talk to your project manager and they're like, it's great, it's going awesome. And then you talk to the business and, they're not reciprocating that same type of feeling, or vice versa. They're saying it's going great. And then your team is like, nah, it's not going good at all. Like they're not helping us. So it was always making me feel like I had to be in the calls or had to watch these recordings every week, which were a huge time suck out of my day trying to do things like this that would actually impact the business for growth and scale, and like doing things, setting the vision, getting us to our next revenue goals. Me sitting in calls, yes, it's important in understanding that, but it's not the most effective way to do it. So doing it this way has really made me feel less anxious about certain calls that we go into, and getting a pulse on all of the businesses we work with to know if they're going good or going bad. If they're going bad, then yeah, maybe I do want to start jumping in those calls and seeing how I can coach and help. But if they're going great, they say they're very happy, I know that, our team's taking care of it and I don't need to really get into those calls, that they have to handle for us. So that's how this was all born, all right? So really, really cool. The quarterly one, I'm not going to show you, but it basically does the exact same thing. The only thing that's different is the wording, and then it asks a couple more questions. I'll talk about that now. So what we're going to review for the last half of this video is some of the ideas behind why I did it this way and what you probably want to think through for your own business. Okay, so the very first one is we send this out on the 10th of the month. Why do we send it out on the 10th of the month? It's kind of a random date. We send all of our invoices on the 1st of the month. So when we were deciding on when we wanted to do this, I'll say this before we even talk about definitive answers. Test everything, right? It's probably dependent on your business and what makes sense and the best results. You should just test everything. For us right now, what we're going to test is the 10th of the month. We send invoices on the 1st, and I didn't want to run into a situation where somebody has questions on their invoice or they're upset about the invoice. I hope that doesn't happen, but if they're upset about the invoice or Maybe we've only been working with them for a couple days at this point. We just signed up with them. There's a number of reasons, right, why I don't want to send this out on the 1st. And so the 10th felt like it would be good to not get buried underneath the invoice notification from our billing team, and also give them a few days to work out any questions they might have on the invoice before we then prompt them to fill out a CSAT survey. I don't want emotions tied to money and billing to get wrapped up in how they give me feedback on working with the team, right? That might be totally separate and they're just annoyed with something that my billing team did to send them their invoice. And then they're like, you know what, forget this. I'm really annoyed with the team. And it has nothing to do with the actual team that's building and doing all the Salesforce work for them. So I wanted to avoid that. That's why we chose the 10th. Sending a survey, we also wanted to bake this in. I think I mentioned this in the first part of the video, but to say it again, there's going to be times as a business you don't want to send people surveys. I just mentioned them, but they're similar, which is, you just started working with them. It doesn't make sense to yet. You've only been working with them for a couple of days. It's not going well. Unfortunately, that happens at times in business, as we know. It's just not going well, and it's not going well. The last thing you want to do is tick them off more and send out another CSAT survey. Or maybe you're ending a partnership and you're no longer going to be working with them, and there's no reason to really collect it. So those are kind of some of the use cases we thought through. Hey, be a good idea to have a checkbox here to make sure that if I don't want this going out, that we can control that from happening. From there, as you saw, we have accounts as companies, and then we have contacts as the people we talk to at those companies. So that's how and why we're doing that in the automation, why we accounts. So in your CRM in Salesforce, you're likely going to have all the companies you've ever done business with. Our criteria here is we're looking for active accounts is when it looks for these. So if they're not active, it was somebody we used to work with, but we don't work with now, we don't want to send them a CSAT. So it's looking for active accounts, and then it will look for contacts that are associated to that active account. From there, as you saw, we have a monthly and quarterly. The reason we wanted to separate those two for our business is we didn't want to have this be something that would cause a lot of trouble for them to fill it out. We want to make this very simple and easy for them to complete. So when you saw that copy, that's why we're saying, hey, it's only 30 seconds, or hey, it's less than a minute. And we're just asking you how things went. It's only a couple questions. So we want to keep it that way because we do want to do this monthly to get a pulse check. And on the monthly ones, it's super simple, right? It's just, how'd you like working with us? Did we keep you updated? Is there anything else we could do? The quarterly, we will ask a couple other questions to dig a little deeper. Like, hey, it's been 90 days working with us now. Do you like the team you're working with? Are things going well with the team? Are you meshing with them? The documentation that we're sending you, is that clear, easy to understand? Is it easy to understand the updates we do give to you? So we are asking a little more in depth so we can pinpoint problems if they do arise of how we want to handle that stuff. In 30 days, we felt like gives you more time to know if you like working with people, gives you more time to know if it's consistently bad or consistently good. So that's why we decided to have two. What I would add to this that I'm likely going to do this coming month is add some reminders. So you saw on there when I first showed you the CSAT surveys, we sent that out on the 10th of the month. Today's the 15th, 14th. So 4 days have gone by. We did just have the weekend. It's Tuesday today. But I can easily now see, hey, the weekend came and went. We sent that out on a Friday because the Friday was the 10th or whatever. Sorry, the 15th. And now that is all happening, what do we want to do from here? How are they going to complete these if my team doesn't manually go out and reach out to them? An email, a Slack message, or me doing that. If we don't do that, they're likely they forgot about it. It's there. They moved on with their lives. They're doing other stuff. So I also am thinking through, I don't want to have the same problem, which is bombarding them with notifications and making them annoyed to fill it out. So we're going to probably sit with just two of them. And what I'm going to do is look at that completion date. So if I go back to our CSAT and we look at, the most recent one that we just sent, which is here, I can now see that this has been completed. So if this is now completed, I know that obviously one, that it's done, but then two is if it's not done in the automation, we can prompt it. So I'm probably going to send this 2 days after. So, hey, this got sent out on the 10th. It's been 2 days. You haven't filled it out. Please fill it out again. And then probably a week from there, like maybe, or 10 days from there, maybe it'll be like the 20th of the month. Hey, still haven't seen something. If you could please fill this out, that'd be great. For now, I'm going to test with 2. I don't want to do more than 2. Again, I'm trying to avoid being super touchy with them and like trying to just give them all these updates all the time. So we'll test and see how that goes. Maybe we cut it back to just 1 reminder. Maybe we up it to 10 reminders. I think just testing is going to tell us. So those are some add-ons that I would think through with your own company. We're obviously a different size than probably the majority of you. So for us, this works. This makes sense to do this in Salesforce. We're using Salesforce for our company. We want it to be the brain of our company for all things sales, all things reports, all things marketing, all things customer service. And so choosing Salesforce as the platform to do this at an early stage, even though we're small, is going to make this way easier for me and the team versus trying to buy something, send out with like a Survey Monkey, and then we get used to that. And then later down the road, trying to build this out and get away from Survey Monkey. Because at that point, I'm going to have a bias for Survey Monkey and I'm going to like certain things about it. And then I'm probably going to lose out on certain things. And so it's just going to be a harder thing for my team to adopt and me to adopt. And so that's why we're choosing to do it here. Now, with that being said, if you're much larger than me, you're an enterprise company doing millions and millions of dollars every year. If that's the case, you might want to vet one way or the other. You can integrate these survey tools with Salesforce. So if that makes more sense, where, hey, if I send out a Survey Monkey, they take care of all the auto reminders. They give me more insights. They tell me who clicked on things. They tell me there's all kinds of stuff like that it just does right out of the box for you. And it's 10, 15 bucks a month or whatever. Cool. Go that route. And then what you can do is you can also integrate this back into Salesforce. So you get the data back in Salesforce and you're not sitting there wondering, all those things I just mentioned. Did they click it? Did they complete it? Or they still have this as opened? Have they looked at it? If you can pipe that back into Salesforce so that Salesforce is the brain of the company, it tells you all these insights. That's ideally what you want to do so that you have it all in one spot and you can analyze it in a much easier way. That's what I would recommend. Some things to kind of think on. I'll end it here. Hopefully this was helpful for you. This has been super helpful for us. So I hope you got something out of this. Appreciate it.